Before I start the actual review, I feel like I should do a slight overview of what led me to making this review and why I'm making it. On January 20th, 2025, my friend Trent concocted a challenge for my entire friend group. The challenge was simple. We were tasked to beat Banjo Kazooie within a month using no save states, and if we beat the game, then we would simply be put into his Switch Online family plan, where he would pay for all of our Switch Online for an entire year. Since the Switch 2 is supposedly coming out this year, this is a challenge you just had to jump at. Many of my friends ended up beating this within 2 weeks, while I decided to wait. I ended up being dumb though, and waited until the last minute. I rushed to beat the game, and on February 19th, I was on the final few levels. I was luckily blasting through it, up until the quiz, which is where I was stumped for a while. But after beating the quiz, and then getting the last jiggies and notes I needed, I was able to get to the final boss. I noticed I needed more notes to get certain advantages in the fight, but I shrugged it off, thinking the fight would be easy. It turned out not to be easy at all. I got my ass whooped. At one point, I noticed I was beginning to get low on supplies I needed for the boss, so that's where the most fateful moment in my entire playthrough occurred. I created a save state. I essentially cheated. I found a way to get my items back without actually needing to go back to levels to resupply. Not that it's an excuse, but at this point, my hands were killing me. It was during the time limit. I had like an hour left, and I just wanted to beat the game to relieve my hands because they were shaking so bad. Arthritis, I think, was the problem with that. So I continued fighting the boss, using the save state when I would run out of supplies so I wouldn't have to go back, and then eventually got greedy and made another save state, which was never used because I didn't have to use it, where I was on the final phase of the fight. At the end of the day, I ended up beating the game. I completed the challenge, but I cheated. So this isn't just a review about Banjo Kazooie, but it's also a lesson, a reason as to why save states and cheats in video games should not be used. I do think that save states is a way of cheating. I mean, just look at the way I cheated Banjo Kazooie. The game was designed for needing a specific number of notes to be able to replenish on the supplies you need. If I had like 80 more notes, I probably could have gotten these bonuses, but instead I chose to save state so that I could automatically replenish my materials rather than going back to get more notes or more materials to replenish. I avoided the way the game was designed to benefit myself. This is my point with save states. You're able to easily avoid certain aspects of a game's design just by simply doing them. In the middle of fighting a hard boss and just got to the second phase, save state, so that if you die, you can just instantly come back to this phase. In a sequence where you aren't supposed to save, screw it, save state in this area. So if something were to happen, boom, you can avoid the design of the game and appear right where you needed to be. Is the problem clear yet? Save states are probably one of the most effective ways to break the way a game is designed without actually needing to do much. You could argue though that some people use save states in a way that's not cheating. That's where some of the gray areas come into play. If someone has to suddenly step away from the computer and there is no save area in sight, then what do? Some people will just save state to save their place so they can come back to the same spot they were in before. Honestly, I don't really see any problem with this. Sometimes people just have things they have to go do, and if you really don't have the time to find a save point, save stating is the next best thing. The problem really just comes from people cheating and breaking the way a game is meant to be played. Furthermore, does anyone else just feel like save stating is woke? I mean, don't get me wrong, I am woke, but like, this is woke. I may have save stated, but at least I can admit I fucked up. It seems like everyone just wants to hide the fact that they have save stated before. Not me! Fucking save states! I am loud and clear about it. I save stated on Banjo Kazooie. I'm woke! Those damn new gen gamers, they're all woke! I also have to say, save stating does something else to the player. It takes away any sort of achievement. While yes, I was happy I beat Banjo Kazooie in time and completed the challenge, I still cheated! I still am being punished for it! And worst of all, I can't get over the fact that I did cheat. It takes away a lot of the accomplishments I wanted to have. Had I not cheated, I could have just gone and replenished my feathers and stuff and beat the game 100% authentically. It sucks! I wanted to have beaten this game authentically, but whatever. Save states really just take away from any sort of accomplishment anyone can have when it comes to beating a game. I know there are probably going to be some people who disagree with me, people who say it's not cheating, but I mean, do you think developers really accounted for save states back when they made the games? They definitely didn't. It completely screws up a way a game is designed. Don't even get me started on the rewind feature either, dude. It's not a thing that exists in the N64 NSO, so I could have never used it, so thank God. But rewind is even worse than save states, because if you mess up once, you can just rewind a few seconds to correct your mistake. It's stimming! I think I got my point across now though. So perhaps now I can finally actually start my review of Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie is without a doubt one of the best platformers / collectathons of all time. The levels are genuinely some of the best in the genre, with the exception of a few. The game was just non-stop fun, with new ideas constantly appearing. I feel like a lot of people are put off by collectathons. Maybe some get overwhelmed because of how much there simply is to collect, but in Banjo, it's done greatly. You collect notes, jiggies, materials for abilities such as feathers, honeycombs for additional health, and more. Some of these, like the honeycombs, are much harder to find, which is why I didn't actually collect too many in my playthrough. Other things, like notes and jiggies, are easier to find, and the main two things you need to find to progress throughout the game. I really like collecting things in this game, though some jiggies prove to be a challenge to find in some stages, like Click Clock Wood and Rusty Bucket Bay. I didn't 100% this game, but I definitely regret not 100%ing it because it would just make beating the game all the more better. Aside from the save state, that is the one other thing I regret doing, but in the situation I was in, I could not 100% it. The levels in this game are all mostly great. I heard my friend complaining about the hub world Gruntilda's Lair, which really shocked me because that was easily one of the best parts of the game. It could be frustrating finding out how to unlock some things sometimes, but it wasn't ever bad game design. It was a great hub world. There were so many good levels in this game, my favorite being Bubble Gloop Swamp. This level specifically shined to me just because of the various areas and ways you could get jiggies in it. From the alligator minigame to the turtle minigame. I just found myself particularly loving that level. My least favorite is probably Rusty Bucket Bay. It's not terrible, but this level is definitely a struggle to play, specifically on the N64 NSO version of Banjo Kazooie. I'm not too sure why, but there were some things I just simply could not see, because I wasn't in close enough distance. There was a Jinjo in this level stuck on a buoy, and I didn't find it until right before I beat the level, simply because the distance it rendered was so low, and I didn't see it until I jumped into an empty area of water to see it load and appear right in front of me. It's also just kind of boring compared to the other levels like Freezeezy Peak. Dude, that level has so much going on in it compared to Rusty Bucket Bay. I don't know how people could like Rusty Bucket Bay. Clanker's Cavern also wasn't very great, but it was better than Rusty Bucket. I just found both of these levels boring. Click Clock Wood isn't as bad as people say, but it's definitely hard to collect notes and jiggies in, and it's probably one of the hardest levels in the game. But I like the gimmick of it. It's designed in a really unique way, and I haven't really played a level like it before. So even if I kind of sucked at that level, I gotta give it the credit it deserves. One other issue I have with this game is that the notes don't save if I die. I get that Jinjos wouldn't save because they're essentially like the red coins from Mario 64, but notes not saving at all was just really annoying to me. I would almost have a level done, then I would die and lose all my notes right before I hit 100, meaning I'd have to go back and recollect all the notes. It would suck. I want to give this game another shot one day. I want to replay it and play it fairly without save states. I want to play it on something other than NSO, and I want to 100% it. This game really was made with love and care, and I get why it gets so much praise these days. Rare is making a huge mistake sitting on the series.